Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm on the iPad today, and I'm usually, of course, on a desktop, but you guys who watch this channel regularly would know I don't usually make videos on an iPad unless I think it's absolutely necessary. I'm on the road right now, and so I don't have access to my desktop, but I did discover something on the charts that I think you need to see, and so I've decided to make this video anyways. There's something on Bitcoin I'm seeing right now, a pattern that is emerging, that I think is crucial, okay? And that is a massive inverted head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin, right? There's the first shoulder, there's the head itself, and the second shoulder could be forming doing something like that. Now, this pattern is very interesting because it would encompass a correction on Bitcoin over the next couple of weeks, but even after that correction, we'd still be in a bullish position. So there's kind of two scenarios I see for Bitcoin right now, which I'll discuss in this video. Scenario one is we go upwards regardless, and scenario two is we go downwards first before going upwards. So two bullish scenarios, nevertheless, but a pattern I think you need to see. And there's also something I'm going to show you on the Ethereum chart, which I think you'll find interesting as well. We'll dive deeper into this pattern in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, today, guys, let's take a quick look at the Bitunix Exchange. As you can see on the screen here, it's a clean interface exchange with hundreds of trading pairs available on futures and on spot. But most importantly, it's never been hacked before, and it's been on the market for 4 years, so it's a very, very good track record. You're trusting exchanges to keep your money safe, and you're paying them money and fees to do so. So an exchange with a good track record and with reserves information available is absolutely crucial. That's what this exchange offers. Bitunix is also non-KYC, it's globally accessible, no VPN required, and with my referral link down below, you can get access to this exchange with a 15% trading fee discount. Also, take a look at the bottom of the screen here. You'll see register now and receive up to $8,000 in rewards. That is also available with my referral link down below. Get your chance to win those $8,000 in rewards with that link. It's down there. Appreciate you guys. Help out the channel and help out yourself by using that link and getting on a decent exchange. Thanks, guys. Alrighty guys, so Bitcoin broke its descending wedge formation where I'm circling here. It's moved to the upside very rapidly over 3 weeks. It's not just Bitcoin that's done that. If you look at the Ethereum chart, now keep in mind, Bitcoin moved upwards from around the low 90K region or the high 80K region when it broke that wedge to about 110K, a move of, let's say, 20%, something like that, right? Whereas Ethereum actually moved upwards from its lows around the same time Bitcoin broke out, moved upwards much, much more. We're looking at about 70 or 80%. So Ethereum in the altcoin market not only broke several macro resistance levels, right? This one right here, a couple minor resistance zones right here as well, not to mention the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap breaking out, but they also shown that there was that massive cup formation there. They also showed a major sign of life, which we haven't seen for a very long period of time on the altcoin market. And that major sign of life is not only being represented by a big move we saw, but also by formations just like this, right? Again, massive cup formation here on the total cryptocurrency market cap chart, something we haven't seen for a long time, a level of bullishness we haven't seen for a long time. If we zoom right back, we can see actually that the total 3 was rejecting from all-time highs that it saw, going backwards to 2021, right? And that's why it went downwards so much, a vicious rejection from that all-time high level. Finally, we're seeing the light at the end of a tunnel with this massive cup formation. We're seeing the light at the end of a tunnel with Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin and the Bitcoin dominance chart going down. It's good to see, but it's not over yet, of course, for altcoins. We discussed that in our prior video. I want to keep the topic mostly on Bitcoin today. I just wanted to let you know what's happened during this move. It's been great not only for Bitcoin, but for altcoins. That was my main point. But now we're running into a little bit of resistance here, and not many people know where it's coming from. Our first step after having that descending wedge breakout was breaking back into our prior macro range in yellow. Our second step was breaking the POC on the volume profile, this big area of resistance over here at 97,000. And the third step is evidently going to be breaking 107,000, which is where we've been rejecting from recently. The issue is a lot of people are unable to identify what actually lays there. They're thinking, why are we rejecting from this level? There's nothing there that I can see. And I've got the answer. Well, it actually comes from alternative charts like the USDT dominance chart, okay? And you might think, okay, why is this relevant? Why do I care? Well, you should care where the resistance is, because if you don't know where the resistance is coming from, you don't know when to buy when it breaks. And so this is why the USDT dominance chart is so important in my view. This is a chart that measures the strength of the USDT coin, Tether, against the rest of the cryptocurrency market. It's in percentage format, similar to the Bitcoin dominance chart. And so when it goes up, it means that Tether is gaining dominance in the market, gaining market share. And when it goes down, it means Tether is losing dominance in the market, losing market share. Now, obviously, Tether is a stable coin that is used to buy cryptocurrency. And so we want Tether's dominance to be going down, because when Tether's dominance is going down, it means people are spending their USDT for crypto coins, and hence crypto's going up. So this chart going down is the same thing as crypto going up, basically is what I'm saying. And what you'll notice is we have this red resistance band here. In fact, let's delete this yellow line. The red resistance band on this chart is incredibly important. It actually predicted the 2021 bull market tops on both occasions. So right here where I'm circling was the first peak of cryptocurrency's bull market in 2021. It topped out on that red resistance band. The second peak, same thing in November, topped out on that resistance band. So this very line, this very exact line that we're testing here on the USDT dominance chart has led to the top of our most recent bull market. It's a very, very important level, and we're testing it right now. All we need to see is the market move up a few more percent, and this level will break, and it will give Bitcoin and cryptocurrency the breathing room to surge to the upside. So although we can't directly identify, let me just get that yellow line back up so I don't forget it later. Although we can't directly identify where resistance is coming from on Bitcoin using visual confirmation, like drawing horizontal lines, for example, we can look at charts like the USDT dominant chart and be very, very clear and very, very sure that there is something there. It's just not visible on the Bitcoin chart itself. Well, the good news is, right, there actually is something now forming on the Bitcoin chart itself. And this is the pattern I mentioned at the start of the video. It's one big inverted head and shoulders pattern, and it's a bullish pattern, okay? But there's nuance to it. So we've got our first shoulder right here. We've got our big head right here. We've got our second shoulder right here, okay? Now, this is a head and shoulders pattern, right? Usually they're like this, okay? Usually they're bearish patterns that lead to reversals, but it's just the same thing flipped around, and essentially it's an upside break pattern. It's a bullish market pattern. The nuance with this head and shoulders pattern is that I don't see any reason to believe that it's not valid, by the way. The nuance is we would see a short-term pullback to form the rest of that right shoulder before breaking to the upside. And this kind of supports a theory we've been discussing for the last couple of weeks, which is that it seems relatively likely that even without that head and shoulders pattern, even without that inverted head and shoulders pattern, it seemed relatively likely, given how major this resistance zone is, given how major that USDT dominance level was. It literally predicted the top on Bitcoin in 2021. It seems likely, or at least very much possible, or at least something we shouldn't be scared of, that Bitcoin could see a short-term pullback to something like 96,000, to something like 93,000, heck, even to something like 88,000 in the worst case scenario, before moving back to the upside once again. Now, in my view, I would like to stay above 93,000, as that is the bottom of this yellow macro range. In my view, that would be very, very bullish if we did that. And so basically, I'm making this video to tell you there's nothing to be afraid of if Bitcoin goes down a little bit in the short term. And I'm able to say that for two reasons. Well, for the reason I established in my prior videos, which is the USDT dominance chart. And by the way, there's another chart that says the same thing, which is the BLX chart on Bitcoin. Let me bring that up right now. But the first reason why I don't think it's ridiculous or scary if Bitcoin goes down in the short term is because the USDT dominance chart and this chart here, the Bitcoin dominance chart, has a line going backwards from 2011, literally, okay? A very, very old line, the oldest line Bitcoin has, which we're finding resistance on right now, okay? Local resistance at the $97,000 region. Given how major, the $107,000 region, given how major this region is from resistance from this massive 14-year line and the line of the USDT dominance chart, a short-term pullback in this upwards trend after an aggressive move to the upside is not something to be scared of at all. That was my first reason. But the second reason why I'm not scared of a short-term pullback would simply be that, of course, we can see a short-term pullback when Bitcoin is forming such a bullish pattern as a inverted head and shoulders pattern. So I really don't see a massive reason to be concerned if we do pull back here. In fact, I would almost kind of expect it. Now, obviously, if we don't see a pullback, that's a massive sign of strength. It means that the bulls are so powerful that we don't even need to respect market patterns anymore. We can just keep going upwards. That would be great. But I'm making this video to further reinforce the point I've made before, which is a short-term pullback shouldn't be scary. It could even be relatively expected because of the majorness, the importance of this level 107,000 from the USDT dominance chart, but also now because of a fresh market pattern that's formed on Bitcoin, an inverted head and shoulders pattern, as well as that massive cup formation pattern we just looked at on the total cryptocurrency market cap chart. All these patterns are extremely bullish patterns, which generally break to the upside on macro, but not without some sort of short-term breakdowns first. So overall, my outlook on the market is very, very bullish. In my next video, I'll discuss the altcoin market a bit more because some interesting stuff has happened with altcoins, specifically during this move on Bitcoin in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, altcoins moved upwards dramatically, but in the last week or so, Bitcoin stagnated and altcoins have been going down quite a lot. So what is that? Is that bad for altcoins? Well, spoiler alert, I don't think it is. I think it's quite normal price action, but we'll definitely look into that as well. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you soon. I won't ramble on about it because I mentioned it at the start of the video already, but again, a 15% trading fee discount is available to a global non-KYC exchange with no VPN required that's never been hacked before with my referral link down below. Get that 15% trading fee discount, get on a good exchange, and help out the channel. You won't regret it, guys. It takes 30 seconds to sign up. I appreciate it. Leave a like, comment, all that stuff. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you soon.